Nature of a business. Welcome to another lesson. In today's class we will be learning about economic systems. We will differentiate among the types of economic systems. The types of economic systems include A. Traditional, subsistence. B. Command or planned, socialist. C. Free market or capitalist. D. Mixed, public and private. Ever wondered how people decided who gets what before money existed? Let's talk about economic systems, and how they all started with one thing: barter. An economic system is basically the way a society organizes how things are made, how they're shared, and who gets what. Every country has one. Some are run by governments, some by businesses, and most are a mix of both. But before banks, markets, and even coins, there was barter. Let's talk about the 4 major types of economic systems, and break them down with easy, real-life examples you'll actually remember. Okay, so there are 4 major types of economic systems. These include 1. The traditional or subsistence economy. 2. Command economy. 3. Free market or capitalist economy. And 4. Mixed or dual economy. Let's begin with economic system number 1, the traditional economy. Before banks, markets, and even coins, there was barter. In a traditional economy, which is one of the oldest types of economic systems, people trade goods and services directly, no money involved. This is where barter comes in. Imagine this. You grow wheat, and I raise chickens. You need eggs, I need bread. We trade, simple as that. That's barter. And that's how many traditional economies worked. But as societies grew, barter had problems. What if I don't want wheat? What if you don't have eggs today? What if the trade isn't fair? The traditional or subsistence economy is an economy based on customs, beliefs, and long-standing traditions. People trade goods and services without money, usually through barter. Here is an example. Imagine a small village where one family hunts, another farms, and another weaves clothes. They trade goods with each other. No credit cards, no money, just swapping things they need. Here is a real-world example. Some indigenous tribes in parts of Africa, South America, and Alaska still follow traditional economies. Rural villages in parts of Africa, many communities rely on farming, herding, and bartering goods like maize, cattle, or handmade crafts. Inuit communities in northern Canada, they hunt, fish, and share resources based on traditional roles and customs, not profit. Tribes in the Amazon rainforest, indigenous groups trade tools, food, and materials through barter systems, guided by tradition, not markets. In a traditional economy, grandma's recipe isn't just dinner, it's a way of life and trade. Now let's look at the command economy. In the command economy, the government controls everything: what to produce, how much to produce, and who gets it. There's no competition and often no private business. Here's an example. Let's say the government decides everyone gets 5 loaves of bread a week. They run the bakery, hire the workers, set the price, and tell you when to pick it up. You don't choose what brand or how many, you just get what's given. Let's talk real-world example. One example is North Korea. The government decides almost everything in the economy. In North Korea, the government controls all production, cars, food, TV, even haircuts are standardized. In Cuba, while slowly opening up, most industries like healthcare and transportation are still government-run. In a command economy, the government is your boss, even if you work at a bakery. Let's talk free market. In the free market economy, businesses and consumers make the decisions. Prices are set by supply and demand. It's also called capitalism. Here's an example. Imagine you want to start a sneaker brand. You buy materials, design shoes, and sell them online. If people love them, your business grows. If they don't, you adapt or fail. The market decides. Here's a real-world example. The United States leans toward a free market, capitalist economy, though it still has some government regulation. United States. You can start a YouTube channel, launch a product, or sell a service. Your success depends on what people want. Hong Kong, historically famous for its free market policies, low taxes, and minimal government interference. Singapore. Mostly a market economy, encouraging global business and innovation with low regulation. In a market economy, if you've got a good idea, nothing stops you from turning it into a business, unless people don't want it. And finally, the mixed economy. In this economy, a combination of market and command systems. Private businesses exist, but the government steps in when needed, like healthcare, education, or safety. For example, you can start a business, go shopping freely, and choose your job, but the government might offer free public schools, minimum wage laws, or regulate pollution. Here is a real-world example. Countries like Canada, France, and the UK have mixed economies. Even the US is technically a mixed economy. In Canada, free public healthcare, but you can start a tech company or buy private insurance. In United Kingdom, government provides healthcare and education, but private business drives the economy. In Germany, strong worker protections plus big private brands like BMW and Adidas. For the Caribbean islands in Jamaica, the government offers healthcare and education. Private sector thrives in tourism, music, and local businesses. In Trinidad and Tobago, the government controls oil, but private banking, retail, and food industries grow fast. In Barbados, public schools and hospitals, but private hotels and tourism drive the economy. In Bahamas, the government builds roads and runs schools. Tourism and real estate are privately owned. And in Dominican Republic, the government handles infrastructure. Private businesses dominate farming, shops, and resorts. In a mixed economy, the government builds the road, but you decide what kind of car to drive on it. In the Caribbean, it's a mix, governments build the foundation, but it's entrepreneurs who really move the needle. So to recap, traditional economic system is ran under customs and traditions. For example, indigenous tribes. The command economy is ran by the government. For example, North Korea. Free market is ran under individuals and businesses. Prices are made based on supply and demand. One example, USA, mostly. And finally, the mixed economy is ran under government plus public combo. Example, Jamaica, Trinidad, Bahamas, Canada, UK, France. Every country runs its economy a little differently, but now you know the big four, and how they work in real life. Smash that like button if this helped, and subscribe for more easy breakdowns of big ideas.